Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. An Inside Tonight program always deals with issues that concerns us, as well as there are some thoughtful conversations with our esteemed panelists where we try to understand how we are living. In fact, what is it that creates our reality? And as we hear quite often that we should be positive, but do we remain conscious that our positivity is not based on some flimsy grounds? And how, when you put politics in this frame, how things shape up, how rhetoric works as far as our interpersonal relationships are concerned, and overall, many issues related to politics, promises, and pragmatic positivity. Here I have the pleasure of welcoming Nagendra Roy ji and Dr. Nitin Saraswati. So Nagendra ji is joining us here from Atlanta. Nitin ji is sitting in Jaipur, and I'm in New York. So we are connected. We in this way in one frame. But talking about one frame and starting with you, Nagendra ji, we are frequently hearing where attention goes, energy flows, which means be positive, look at the positive side, etc. And Gandhiji's three monkeys also reminds us, Bura mat suno, Bura mat dekho, ityadi. So, talk to me, does it always work, or it leads us to a space where we start questioning, ये कहाँ आ गए हम, ये कहाँ आ गए हम?
Thank you, Ashok ji, for having me in the conversation. And as this show says, right, Insight Tonight. So we will try to bring some insights from us. And actually, what happens is, as a human being, we tend to think in those perspective where we have some influence or we are getting tempted or we see things are changing and impacting human being as a human being to us professionally, personally, socially, so many different things. And we cannot, until unless we go to jungle and live some sannyasi life, that is a different thing. If we are in this world, we have to be in sync what they are doing, how we are doing, and all. So in short, we think when it is impacting us, or are we interested in knowing more about this, or somebody else is telling us, okay, this should be your matter of interest or matter of impact. So that is how as a human being we start thinking. And is professionally, if it impacts your professional life or your economy, or based on your political influence, or you are into that system, that might also change your mindset, because everything, end of the day, what act you will perform based on your mindset. So that is how I see this. It's not like all of a sudden some switch you are putting on and then you start thinking about. It's not like that. It's like you will see, you will hear, you will listen, and you will feel that kind of environment and its impact. So that's how I will conclude, and I will let Nitin speak
Absolutely.
more into that. So.
Yeah, I think you have given a broad picture, and I'll try to be taking Nitinji towards specifics and allow me to sort of share. Quite often, you hear people telling each other that if you trust people too much, you are going to be in trouble, which means be cautious. And then you recollect, probably it comes from Bible, where there's do not judge people. If you judge, where will be the time to love? So now, having that openness or that mindset where you openly embrace people, then you kind of have a different sort of human experience. But then, will you be in the trouble by doing that? So, we are trying to understand with you pragmatic positivity. How do you see it? And then we'll bring politics into the picture.
You are asking me, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So first, I would like to reflect on what Nagendraji said, and I would like to put it like this: that there are certain things which have been sold like a commodity, and one of them is positivity. Certain things, especially West, is guilty of presenting them like a sellable. One of them is manifestation. Second is positivity. There is nothing, as Nagianji so beautifully said, that there is nothing absolute positive or absolute negative. Anybody who has a desire to live is actually a positive person. Anybody who's giving is actually a positive person. Now, what at what stretch we are calling people positive? That is the stretch called achievers. So unfortunately, we only see achievers as positive people. We don't see people who are less achievers as positive people. But there might be lack of drive or drive in the different direction. But people who are not achieving a lot might be very positive, and people who are very high achievers, because I work with a lot of high achievers, and if you ask me, it's like a graph. We have a mix of positivity and negativity. It's like
Yeah,
dark and
yeah.
light.
You hold it here, and I think you brought a very interesting point, which we generally do not look at it the way he said it. Nagadi, he says that there could be positive people who are less successful, and there will be successful people, because the success, the way we term, is not exactly directly proportional to being positive. So let us understand, when we say positive, it may mean different things for different people. How do you see being positive means what, Nagendraji?
Sure. Positive, it's a mindset, number one. And the thing, and I think we spoke earlier at this, for this specific thing, like Vivekanand, Swami Vivekanand. I read a book like 20 years ago where he mentioned uniqueness is just the degree. Like today I will be 10% successful, tomorrow 20, 30, 40, 50, and it can go 100, 120, 130. We tend to say, okay, I am 100% with you, I'm 200% with you, right? That doesn't, what does it mean? It like, okay, I'm a very positive 100%, and then when we say, okay, we are 200% with you, means like we are very, very with you, right? That kind of stuff. So the degree, like less successful, more successful, success is just a milestone in your life, and it go hands in hand with your positivity. When things turns in our favor, we say it's our positive. When things doesn't turn into our favor, we say it's negative. But it's not the way it's happening technically. Everything what you see is just how you see. Half glass full, like half glass empty or half glass full, that kind of stuff. What we are seeing, what we are looking at it, and what matters to us. Okay, living half glass empty is more favorable to us or more dangerous to us, or having a half glass full is a more satisfactory, or it's a fulfilling our requirement. That's how we anticipate and perceive things in such a way, so that we can say, okay, positivity is like, okay, I am dressed up with you and I'm talking to you and you are giving me smile. That's a positivity. When it comes to our conversation and we end up in doing a very healthy conversation around any topic, we love that, and that is a positivity. So positivity is everywhere. We have to see from those lenses and then find out. That's how I see.
Very good. So now I'll also add my 2 cents, and then I'll come to you, Nitinji, because I think you have really given the kind of fresh insight for me to think. Uh, Someone who is favorable to me, who is fulfilling my expectation, is positive person for me. That will be one. Two, if you're just looking from inside out, you will say, if you are happy with yourself, if you are sustaining inner harmony in all circumstances, you are a positive person. But when you look at it from the corporate point of view, and let us take the name of the guy behind Apple, some people, and you would name, of course, him among the most successful people around. Of course, he's not in the physical form anymore, but the thing is, people who were close to him, they shared their personal experiences that he was not a very nice person to be around. Like, so when you have certain goals that you want to achieve, and you would push people in a way which would make them feel bad, so you are ruthless somewhere. So now, when we are talking about positivity, it would mean different thing. But the way I have normally seen, I was looking inside out. But so collectively, maybe it is helping the country to grow, etc. So now let me also add one reference, bring politics into the picture. So as you know, we just witnessed a very horrifying incident here in America, assassination attempt on President Trump, former President Trump. The first debate, or the only debate so far that has taken place between these two president candidates, Trump either made a remark there in the debate or somewhere he said that President Biden has never fired anybody. So he was looking at the ability or the decision to decide that this person is not going to be good to achieve the final collective goal. So I should be ruthless to get rid of him or her. So now I have given you a couple of sort of references. Now fill in the aspect of positivity with these different coordinates.
See, again, where I left from, I would like to start from there. What I was trying to say was that when we look at positivity, we have to look at your inner zeal to excel and your inner zeal to find a harmony inside. That is exactly the positivity. So the word is to excel. Now, in what is my way of excelling? It's like the same mistake that people made when they made a test for IQ. IQ of a person who is a carpenter will be very different from the IQ of Mr. Nagendra, which will be very high. But there's a possibility that you can find a carpenter with higher IQ than Mr. Nagendra, but in a particular field. Same way, we have to find positivity. Like a very good leader, firing a person can be very positive person. And a leader just to become a people pleaser, not taking hard measures, may be a very, very reluctant leader, an accidental leader. Like in India, we have this term, the accidental prime minister. So the point is, whether a person is positive or not, we cannot judge it by the actions only. We have to A, psychoanalyze the person, B, look at the results, and C, we have to find a way what kind of harmony and positive vibration the person created. How happy were the surroundings in totality? People might be offended for a minute or two, like a father punishing a son for not doing the homework. You can say he's killing the positivity. No, he is not. Because 2 years later, the son will thank the father for being a little harsh to him. So we have to see things in totality and then we can look at it whether it was a positive personality who was dealing with things or whether it was a negative personality who was dealing with the things.
So I'll take a cue from your previous remark where you said that anyone who has willingness to live is positive. I would add another side, which of course I heard from my guru actually. He said, "You have the will to live is good, but do you also have will to win?" So, will to win then leads to doing things, setting goals or whatever. And of course, it would vary where and what you define as victory. Nagendraji, let us bring politics into the picture now, and let us also recollect Mahatma Gandhi ji and these three monkeys. So, if a politician is to follow Gandhiji literally and would not see what is wrong, then he will not come up with the kind of criticism that he has on regular basis. And now put what opposition has always pointed towards Prime Minister Narendra Modi and kind of recollect some of the utterances of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. And so they say that what he's doing, you don't want to see that. And they also make certain promises. So politics, promises, and pragmatic positivity from the point of view of common folks in that orbit. Nagendraji.
Sure. And thank you for, asking me on this, because I feel and I read and I experienced through so many different ways and sources. Every individual who is in that particular capacity or role, they have their own dharma. Okay, Raja Dharma is different than Pati Dharma is different than if you are a leader for a party, that is a different, and if you are CEO of the company, it's a different, and if you are friend of somebody, that dharma is different. So in what capacity, what decision you are making, that totally depends on what role you are playing for that particular incident or for that particular scenario. So politics, it's a totally different than your personal or your social responsibilities and your role. So when it comes to the nation or when it comes to the party, what comes first? And when it comes to a personal stuff where you can live your life the way you want to, that is totally different. Because people may question, okay, why you went there and why you did not go there, right? It's up to you. But at the same time, when you are in that particular role and you are responsible, when you are supposed to be where, that needs to be also decided carefully and mindfully. Because however you think doesn't matter, when you are following or playing some role, that is very very critical for you to take that as a responsibility.
I think you have been suitably vague. I mean, allow me to say that. So I'll bring Nitin with a little bit more specific. So when Rahul Gandhi, I mean, I know what you said is to the point, yet it kind of is very open ended. So we'll just close few and repeating similar question with additional words, Nitinji. So promises are made by politicians, especially during election campaign or otherwise also. Now let us recollect the promise which were made by Rahul Gandhi or Congress prior to election in India, and they had some guarantee, and those letters were also given. So that raised hopes among people, and then you saw a lot of queues, etc. So how do you see this adding overall a sort of positivity to the environment, and how a common man may look at promises from certain prism so that they are pragmatic in sort of getting excited about the promises made by the leader. In this case, I have given you the reference of Rahul Gandhi. It could be any other. Yeah.
See, if you talk about positivity as a placebo pill, then of course these are positivities. But these are more mere hopes, not positivities. It's like selling dreams. So, of course, people want to buy dreams, and you can sell dreams, and you can become rich by selling dreams. That's what 99% of the good marketeers have been doing throughout the world. They have been selling dreams. Uh, a protein shake sells dreams, a politician sells dreams, a filmmaker sells dreams, and even we sell dreams to the people around us. One day you'll be very successful, etc., etc. Now we have to see whether it qualifies as positivity. If the person who is selling dream, he has nothing to gain by it, I'm still ready to buy it as positivity. But if you are selling dream to fill your pocket, I will not call it positivity. I will call it a fraud.
So
Yeah, yeah. Take over, Nagendra.
yeah, so 100% agree with Dr. Nitin, right? Because, and I will, anticipate and perceive and see from the other side of, not by who are selling it, I will who is receiving it or who is going to purchase it. From that angle, if I see, if somebody is trying to sell the dreams, okay, it can be a false hope, false promises. It can be positive as well. Okay, someday, because the way we are talking to our children, we say, okay, if you do this, you will do well. And I have seen this, I have experienced this. It happened, it doesn't happen in his future. That's a destiny. But we try to think and say those things which we may think of, okay, it is going to be beneficial for this healthy conversation for now, or it can be a good investment to bring somebody on our board or on our side, and then take the consensus and get something out of it. There is in it something for me, and then that will become a purpose for any individual or for any party or for any community. So it's, we have to be mindful from the other side of the community perspective, how people are trying to sell all those different things. We need to understand what is realistic and what is more artificial and what is more towards kind of a futuristic, just to giving you a very rosy picture, and then you will become a follower for that. And it starts polarization as well, when you think in that direction. And people are very good at it. We have to be very very careful on those things.
I think he makes a very good point. Nitinji, the promises that are made are they coming from someone who is credible, who, when you look at the record and what they say and what they do, how it matches. So I think that is where we will say pragmatism of sustaining positivity rests. Coming back to India, and also I'm kind of recollecting the guarantee word used very frequently, Modi ki guarantee hai, X, Y, Z things, and then these people also had this guarantee card, etc. But ultimately, how you perceive it as a voter, whether what the person is saying, what has been his track record, etc., uh, that becomes difficult in the kind of call it ecosystem or the kind of environment that is built through media, and of course several other factors. Now social media also comes into play. So and the word polarization also came from Nagendra ji. To maintain your sanity sometimes becomes difficult because you are drawn towards different ideas, etc. So what would be your advice for a common man, whether he is in America or India, with reference to his response to the political polarization?
See, I was in Vietnam this June, and went to Vietnam's medical system. There was a uh, like, and I was surprised to get a story from Vietnam. They told me that in Vietnam you can practice anything as medicine. So you say, I'm an occult doctor, and you can write, I'm an occult doctor, and you can practice. But the funniest thing was, I was told that when there was a research done by some Japanese people, they found that the number of patients getting treated and the ratio of people getting cured was almost same in every therapy. Even in the faith therapy, people were getting better, were getting cured. Now that is what how weak a human is. We are always ready to buy hope. You can sell hope in the name of astrology, in the name of Ashirwad, in the name of Prasada, anything. We buy hope because we just want a miracle. We are waiting for a miracle. That's why in every religion you will find, Pagambers coming, you will come, like we are waiting for the Kalki avatar, etc., etc., etc. We
So
want hope.
yeah, I resisted interrupting you. See, what you are referring to as we are weak, I would say this is the strength. We, we need hope. And of course, there is another term, this placebo effect or something. So,
That's
and
what I'm
again,
saying. Plus,
और हिंदी का
but
एक
if you want hope, if you are so desperate for hope, then you have to be ready to be fooled, because then some smart people, any Hitler will rise and sell the hope.
that is,
Anyone.
yeah,
And you
that
will
point.
not look for credentials.
So that point is valid. That being cautious is good, but I would still say that there is a pure space of human inner system where you trust people, and you trust yourself, and you also have certain positive idea about the way miracle may unfold within, etc. I would say that it could work both sides, but I would put it more towards positive side. I think that sustains you, and that is also related to your will to live. Because if you will not find avenues which would help you in sustaining your
A
hope,
gentleman, a gentleman from your land only, where you're sitting, said a very wonderful quote. You can fool everyone for some time. You can fool some people every time, but you cannot fool everyone every time. So people who are selling false hopes, they fall flat. They get exposed very soon. But the point is, they are two very different things. Am I supposed to trust people? Yes. I'm a staunch believer of it. Be it organization or be it anything. I'm supposed to trust people, but I'm not supposed to be blind. I'm supposed to be logical. I'm supposed to have my senses, and I'm supposed to use my senses with the trust. I should not be the one to doubt. So I'm trusting people. I want to listen to anything that they say, but I want to put my ability to question.
So I'm not
And then
questioning. Yeah, I'm not questioning your ability to question. But since we are about to wind up, so I'll have a few words from Nagendra ji on his way of maintaining a sense of hope and positivity in the face of whatever news you are surrounded with, whether it is related to global warming, to wars in different zones, to the way politics is playing, call it its game. Nagendra ji.
Sure. And always, what I follow, Ashokji and Nitinji, is start from yourself. Going and talking and boiling the ocean, you will be confused. So in Bhagavad Gita, uh, I think there is a quote which I will translate into English is what you know is very little, and what you don't know is huge. Based on what limited knowledge you have in your lifetime, or whatever you heard from your seniors and your leaders or your mentors, is very, very little and very limited. Based on that, you try to conclude things, or you try to put things in your perspective. Okay, this is how I see, this is how
Absolutely. So
we see.
somehow, yeah, somehow, as we are about to wind up, and always Nitinji comes up with some points, point of advice for a common voter who feel miserable sometimes because he or she doesn't find any politician whom they would like. But democracy demands that you express your choice through your vote, and this nota thing I think is damaging for democracy, but not that discussion. Any advice for a common man?
the biggest advice is not to be loyal to the personalities, but to be very open and thoughtful about the ideas. We have to be very, very questioning. We have to have a personality that wants to listen to the opposite side also and then form an opinion. Don't be judgmental, be very open, listen to the ideas, don't get impressed or overshadowed by the personalities, and don't have biases
Wonderful.
because you're choosing the destiny for the next 5 years. So you have to be very, very logical. Put logic into place, not biases. Unfortunately, we are run by biases. We are run by propagandas. Propagandas will never be able to run us. Nobody will be able to sell us false hopes if we ask the right questions. The problem is we don't ask the right questions. Answers are never a problem.
Wonderful. So sometimes questions are problem for politicians. So answers, so answering those questions becomes a problem for them, and they are seen in a sort of a rage sometimes. But moving forward, it is important that we have the will to live, referring to the original idea expressed by Nitin, not original, but initially in this program, and also the will to succeed also is important, and having a balanced approach helps in sustaining the pragmatic positivity. Nagendraji, Nitinji, thank you very much. This was sort of a
Thank you.
unusual theme that we touched upon, but I thought it's important that we take a sort of a macro look at our situation. So thanks to both of them, and thanks to all of you for being a part of this
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.